happens when the name of a person is replaced with an insult, or when silence is now their only defense. Bullying doesn't leave bruises. It leaves long-lasting scars on those who are affected. A few months ago, something happened in my class that I'll never forget. A classmate, someone I wasn't even that close with, was being bullied. At first, I didn't realize the severity of the case, but every day I could see the changes it had on him. It made him quieter and less happy. One day, his mother stood up for him. She called out the bullying, and suddenly everything changed. The teasing stopped. People realized it wasn't funny, but hurtful. That moment made me wonder, how many kids don't have someone to stand up for them? Today, I'm standing here, not as someone who has been bullied or as a bully myself. Today, I'm standing here as the voices for those who can't always speak up. Bullying is often considered as harmless, but it's actually when someone is repeatedly hurt, physically, verbally, socially, or online, by someone who thinks they have more power. The worst part is everywhere. According to UNESCO, 1/3 of kids around the world are bullied. In Colombia, bullying has been so normalized that we are 10th in countries with most of these cases, yet we barely talk about it. Think about how we joke around. Phrases like, "I use this," are used sometimes as a joke, sometimes as an insult. And when someone gets upset, the response is, "Don't be so sensitive." At the end, there is no difference. But words have power. When insults start becoming normalized, kids start believing that humiliating others is simply funny and not hurtful at all. I used to think bullies were just mean kids. But when I started researching, I realized something shocking. Many bullies act this way because they feel invisible. Sometimes kids bully others not because they're mean, but because of how they've been treated by grown-ups. If a kid feels unheard or feels bad about themselves, they might try to make others feel bad too. Some do it for power, some for attention, or some because they've seen adults doing it. According to StopBullying.gov, many kids often act this way because of stress, low self-esteem, or problems with adults in their lives. Imagine a child who wins a merit award. He's excited to tell his parents, teachers, or siblings, but they're all too busy to notice. He feels invisible. The next day, he starts teasing others, not because he's mean, but because even a negative reaction makes him feel seen. Studies by the American Psychological Association show that many bullies don't feel valued at home, so they seek attention in the only way they know: acting out, being rude, or teasing others. And this attention turns into a kind of power. But that power isn't permanent. It can change depending on how we respond. Imagine a shadow. The further you move away from it, the bigger it becomes. In bullying, when we look the other way, the worse it becomes. Ignoring bullying has serious consequences. More than 50% of cases go unreported, leaving millions of kids suffering in silence. Around 3 million kids miss school because they're too afraid to go. The classmate who I've seen was constantly teased had changed a lot since the incident, since being bullied. He looked upset all the time, no longer enjoying things he used to like, his mood wasn't the same. I started to notice he was isolating himself, no longer enjoying going to school or being surrounded by others. That's when I realized it's not just him. Bullying can cause anxiety, depression, or loneliness, and these effects can last for years. But when we confront bullying and stand up for ourselves, the bully's power weakens. The closer we get to the shadow, the smaller it becomes. Suddenly, bullies aren't so intimidating anymore, and their and our powers are equal. However, the shadow cannot only grow larger or smaller, it can even disappear. When parents step in, they turn on the lights. That's why parents play such a huge role. If children feel loved, heard, and supported, they don't need to hurt others to feel important. However, attention isn't something you can just give like money. It is something you build day by day by having quality time with their son without a cell phone or TV, just you and him. This can be as simple as sharing a meal together, playing board games together, or even asking them how they're doing. You might be tempted to ask ChatGPT about it, but believe me, this time it won't give you the answers. But it's not just that. It's also important to set limits, to teach love and discipline, while showing them that respect goes in both ways. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making sure your child feels safe coming to you, no matter what. Bullies are villains. They're vulnerable. Instead of learning cruelty, what if they learn kindness? Children learn by example. Imagine giving a toddler a piece of paper. He could tear it apart, make a ball with it, or even eat it. But he only realized he's supposed to write on it when he sees his parents doing it. When I was 5 years old, my father would wait with me for the school bus. Every morning, he would wave at the security guard. Over time, my brother and I created our own tradition of saying good morning at the same time. Children imitate their adults around them. If a child sees others solving problems with anger, they learn that aggression is effective. But if they see others solving problems with kindness and respect, they learn those values too. However, in the end, most children will behave well when their parents are watching. But what matters is who they are when no one is watching, and whether those values carry or not. But here's the good news. We can change this. When caregivers give children love and attention, when they teach them empathy and respect, the world becomes a safer place and fewer children feel lonely. I'm lucky to be part of a school that values respect, kindness, and inclusion. But imagine if we took it even further, if no one ever felt excluded, if every problem was solved face to face, if differences were always celebrated rather than judged. If we understand that bullying isn't something to be solved, but something to be prevented, we can make our schools the best place for everyone. Maybe you've never been bullied. Maybe you've never bullied anyone. But this issue still affects you. Bullying doesn't just shape childhood, it shapes the kind of adults we become. A child who learns cruelty will grow up into an adult who puts others down. A child who learns kindness will grow up into an adult who lifts others up. We can't just snap our fingers expecting bullying to be solved. Everyone needs to lay their big. Parents, teachers, classmates. So together we can build a strong wall that stands against bullying and protects every child. Isn't that the world we dream of? Where every child gets to grow up safe and free? We have a choice. Let's get to build that world together. Let's not be silent in front of bullying. Let's be the voices for those who can't always speak up. Because every child deserves to feel safe, valued, and heard. Thank you.